The other day asked me about stop losses, um, and I just want to talk about a few things regarding stop losses. One, for most instances, you want a 20% hard stop on day trades. Swing trades, it's typically a little more flexible. You may want 30% or 50%, right? It's more based on a breakout of a trend. When you see a breakout of a trend, you cut. Yeah. Or here's another example of what I like to tell people. I usually just say 20% because it's way easier than breaking down every single trade stop loss. But like you take this trade, or you take AMD yesterday, right, on the 5 minute. Let's say we entered right here, right? We see the wick down, so we enter right here at the close of this candle. Yeah. Your stop loss would be right at this line. If it breaks this wick, cut. Yeah. There again, it's all about your personal risks and if you're now over trading or under trading in the day, right? If it's your first trade and you're down 15, you're like, you know what, I don't like this. I can re-enter later. Cut it. Yeah. If you're, 0 for 2 on the day, yeah, then you for one you shouldn't be trading anything really, but uh, cut it 10%. Keep your stop loss tight. But if maybe you're 2 for 3 on the day, right? And you're up $300. We can keep your stop loss at minus 100. You'll still walk away green, and then you'll also give yourself a little more leeway for that trade to come back into profitable, right? Yeah. So one way is again setting your levels. If there's a break of a level, then you cut, right? And then so let me just give you another example of stop loss based on support and resistance, right? We have this breakdown here, and then we have these 3 wicks, and then we have a reversal, right? This is now your support. Then we have here 4 wicks on the 5 minute bouncing off this same area. Yeah. So you could then assume that it's most likely going to come down. If you want to take your trade here, right, on this wick, the 3rd wick, or even the 4th wick, set this as your stop loss. You cut if it breaks above this, right? And you see it breaks down here past this level, which was recent support. Yeah. So that now becomes I would take profit usually here, leave one runner, right? This would then become your support. And then it comes back up here. You take your profits, you cut, whatever. You're still in profits because you bought up here, right? And then as you can see, it breaks through and then it goes up to the next level and past it, right? Um, and obviously, not everybody can buy multiple contracts, which is another thing I tell people is that you have to focus on the small gains first, which is why, again, I tell people 20% because you want to win 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 trades. And you keep doing that. If you win 2 trades at 20% profit and you lose one for 20% profit, you still walk away every single day green. Your goal should be finding winning trades and keeping your stop losses at the same amount that you pretty much take profits. Maybe a little bit less if you feel a little less confident in yourself. Um, but yeah, that's the gist. Again, build your capital. If you start with $100, you make 10% a day. That's $220 in a month that you just made. $320 you end the month with 200% up, and that's compounded. So after the first day, $100, 10%, that's $10. The next day, since you have 110, 10% is $11, right? And after 2 months, you'll have enough money. So you don't have to full port every single play. You could just use a small amount of your account. And again, this is scary for traders with small accounts because you don't want to keep your stop loss tight because you just want to pray to God that it's going to come back into profits because you're losing big portions of your accounts because you're throwing everything into the trades because again options are expensive and because you want to make the most money possible. You're taking same days of SPY. You don't want one contract where you just make $20 that on 20%, right? You want to take 10 contracts so you're making $200. We all want to do that, trust me. But eventually just give it 2 months of small consistent gains and you will be able to take that 10 contracts without feeling like you're going to completely blow out your account. Which brings me into my next point is that stop losses are a very psychological game, right? I saw a post the other day on Instagram that says we often turn optimistic when we have a losing trade because we believe it's going to come back and come back into profits, come back into the money, whatever. And we become pessimistic on winning trades. We think the market's going to take it away from us, or it's going to reverse, come back on us, and we're going to lose those profits. So we end up taking profits way too soon and letting our losing trades just run. Right. This is the importance of putting your stop losses in profits. Right. Because once you're in profits, you don't need to become pessimistic if you have a stop loss in profits. If it hits your stop loss, that's that. You still made money on that trade because you put your stop loss in profits. Right. Um, But yeah, instead, sometimes of putting a stop loss, we'll just take profits at 5% instead of letting it run. And I need to do a better job of telling you guys to put your stop losses in your winning trades. I just know a lot of people don't actually do it, right? And I had the same problem, my first few years of trading. I would just eyeball it, right? You don't want to eyeball it. You want to listen to the market. Put stop loss in profits once you're in profits, so you can look away. And if it runs, because I mean, how many times have you guys sold a contract too fast and then 5 minutes later it wouldn't even hit your stop loss? If you put a stop loss in profits, it would have just kept going, tons of times. And I haven't. I blame myself for this a little bit because I haven't been telling you guys to do that. Um, all right, so yeah, just to break it down again, uh, you need to. Okay, first things first is your levels. Your level should be one of your most important types of stop losses. If it breaks a level, just like we said, here, 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 that's your stop loss, right? Uh, Second, again, is gauging your own risks and how much you're up in a day and how much you can risk to still be green for that day, right? Like for example, again, today with TTD, Uber, and Amazon, right? Amazon did 30%. If you held it, it did like 100%, but that would have been risky. Uber did 20%, and TTD did minus 15 to minus 20%. And again, the Uber and the TTD, they cancel each other out. And sometimes people look at me like, how is this guy profitable, right? Because they see the one TTD loser. But you have to understand that I also took two more trades that day that, before the TTD even, and it canceled out the TTD, right? I had money to lose on the TTD. If you guys didn't, then keep your stop losses tight, right? This is why when people ask me, well, are you exiting? Are you getting, blah, blah, whatever. It's like, I can't tell you what to do because, my risk isn't the same as your risk. You have to gauge your own risk. And if you want to DM me and, talk about your account, everything's personal with trading because it's all money based. You can, and I'll help you and I'll help gauge your risk. But then most of the time, you will probably just want to keep it 20% stop or look at your levels. Or if you're up a lot in the day, keep it to an amount where you'll still be profitable that you're happy with. If you're already making $200, don't even trade the rest of the day. You should be done most of the time, 9 times out of 10. But if you do, don't overtrade. And again, don't hold your losers that long and give it all back, right? I've seen so many people do that. Um, yeah, so again, levels, gauge your own risks. If you have a small account, go for the small gains every single day. Win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, even 3 out of 5, and keep your stops at 20%. Right? Do not overtrade. Yeah. Again, most importantly, it's levels and your own risk. With swings, again, you can, there's a little more leeway. For swings, you should look a break of a trend. Right? All right, everybody, trade safe, stay safe. We do have a 3-day weekend, so markets closed on Monday. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.